Hey everyone, Kate Bohr and Fiona Pearman joining you for this week's Facebook Live, where we're rounding out the conversation we've been having on clarity and confidence. And I think one of the things that clarity requires is courage fee. And this really is one of the big conversations that we lead in the Acts of Confidence program. And it often surprises people a little bit that we're having conversations around courage and fear and failure when we're talking about confidence.
Yeah, the connection here becomes more and more obvious the more you're in our world and the more you start to unpack what's really going on beneath the surface. And I think when we look at clarity and what it gives us and what it requires, it does take a lot of courage. Getting clear, being willing to say no to certain things, being willing to say yes to big opportunities that perhaps stretch us. Those things inevitably bring up some of our fears. They bring up things we're worried about. And so starting to explore and unpack that and starting to understand how we can resource ourselves and how we can use courage to actually engage in things that perhaps we would in the past have shied away from, but we're now willing to give a go.
Yeah, I think this piece around getting really honest with ourselves, particularly we saw this interesting contrast in COVID, right? Pre-COVID, lots of things we can distract ourselves with: social activities, family, holidays, lots of different committees maybe in the workplace. All of that got stripped away during, work from home for many of us, or at least slimmed down. And so this piece around there was a lot of space to really start to dig into, reflect, and think about what is it that I want here? What is my truth? And that requires courage, because in some circumstances, it will open up space for us to take action, because we'll recognize that perhaps we've been in a state of inaction, which can be difficult and quite confronting as well. But equally, it can require us to take acceptance. It says, you know what, I might not like the truth of what is present for me right now, whether that's my circumstance or what's going on inside of me. And I'm not able to take the action or make the choices I would like. And I need to accept that right now.
Yes, yeah. And even as you say that, I sort of feel, even a bit of a wave of potential pain, maybe some compassion around it is hard. It is courageous to examine what's really going on for us. And in that void or that space to start to go, actually, I have been avoiding certain things. I haven't been maybe particularly clear or honest with myself. And again, not doing that from a place of judgment, but inquiry and curiosity, starting to understand what's really important to me, where perhaps I might have been a little bit slippery with my own honesty and integrity, and digging in and being willing to examine what it would give me if I was prepared to be that bit more courageous, if I was prepared to do something different, maybe within myself, and also in circumstances where I find that things are not working so well for me. There's maybe relationships or dynamics or situations where it's been easy to just let it slide, even though it wasn't true for me. And I was, sort of going along with it. And now I'm actually going to be courageous enough to go, you know what? This is not in alignment. This is not true for me. And I'm going to have the courage to talk about it, and be clear with the other people who are involved.
Yeah, or make a decision and take action, right? Because inaction is making a decision. We talked about our signals. We lack clarity. Procrastination, indecision are all, they are all, they're all moments of action, because we're avoiding and we're not doing. And I think the other piece that I really want to hold here is this piece around, redefining your relationship with fear and failure, right? What comes through this journey, which we will be the first ones to say is painful and confronting. And so that the decision to put your hand up and come into our world is a courageous one, right? And in fact, lots of people, come into our world and, get the book and attend lots of our, career accelerators, and have lots of a great experience, but can feel that the next step takes courage, because of exactly what we're just talking about. But what's on the other side of courage is freedom, right? And it's only when you take that action, when you have the courage to dig into some of what we've been talking about, and you're on the other side looking back, that you can actually see and experience the impact and value of taking all of these small acts of confidence, of having the courage to lean in, to get clarity, to make decisions, to move into acceptance. And so I think, and that's really what underpins all our work, is freedom for both of us. It's a high value for both of us. It plays out in different ways, but the freedom to speak our truth, the freedom to take action in alignment with whatever is true for me, whatever is important to me, is really what underpins our work. And interestingly, you start talking about confidence, you end up over here, courage, then you're talking about fear, and oh my goodness, now you're on freedom. That is the interconnected nature of the work that we do.
Yeah, and I think the beautiful piece here is there's so much opportunity, and a lot of our work is about reframing things that maybe potentially have held us back in the past. And this is where starting to re-examine our relationship with fear and starting to be willing to take small acts of confidence, which are, each moment is an act of courage as well. Doing that is where we start to really change our relationship with confidence. And we know that the more we're willing to examine some of those things that are going on, some of those things that maybe been circling around for a long time, and we've perhaps been avoiding, or we've been in that, indecision phase. Once we take courage, once we have courage and we take some form of action, things change. Immediately, there is ripple effects and changes when we do something different. And a lot of this is about really supporting and holding women in their own power to be that bit more courageous than they were before. And I think that's the great joy of the work we do, but also the camaraderie that people experience and talk about in the program, the support from their buddies, from the peer network, that really changes their dynamic and allows them to be more courageous.
All right, we're going to wrap that confidence conversation there. If you know someone who could benefit from this conversation, we'd love for you to share it with them or tag them below. Of course, if you'd like to be notified every time we go live, head over to our Facebook page, hit like or follow, and you can be notified, and also dig into stacks of great conversations and videos like the ones we've had today. And of course, if you're ready to go deeper with your relationship with core confidence, visit coreconfidence.com.au.